Hello, good morning po.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Wonderful. What's the most important lesson you learned in the past week?
The most important lesson I've learned in the past week would have to be the ability to adapt and stay patient. As we know, there are so many things changing around us, not only outside of our bubble here in Miss Universe Philippines, but also just in our nation. And especially during all of the activities where we have sponsor shoots, we don't know our time calls or call times and all of the scheduling that we have to do. It's important for us women to be able to adapt to whatever is thrown at us and also to be able to be patient and know that everything is happening for a reason.
If beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, in whose eyes are you beautiful?
I think in God's eyes. Actually, I know in God's eyes because I have always been very close with my God. And since I was a kid, I understand, and even throughout my life, I've always believed that God is the only person who is able to judge us, and He's the only person able to criticize or help us and guide us. So it would be in God's eyes that I'm beautiful.
If we truly learn from our mistakes, would you advise a young person to keep making them?
I would not advise them to make mistakes, but if they were to make mistakes, I would tell them that it's completely okay because our mistakes is how we grow as a person, and we should take lessons from each of those mistakes in order for us to grow into better people.
If you have the power to do one of the following, eliminate poverty and hunger, a government with no ground for corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose?
I would choose A, to diminish poverty and homelessness. Having experienced it myself, I know how much it can affect a person. And I think that if we do our best to eliminate poverty or to at least help alleviate the homeless, that these people can be integrated back into society and these people can turn into someone who can bring positive joy and positive light into the world, and also to be able to create change that we need right now.
If you were to add to cart one item to buy on Lazada to send to all Filipinas to help inspire them during this time, what would it be and why?
It would have to be affirmation cards. And I've said this in my video and I still stand by it today because for me it's something that I've always had even in high school, where I take one piece of affirmation card, well in high school it's a sticky note, and it would inspire me and really set my day for me. And now, especially during this pandemic where we are hurting as people and hurting as a nation, it's so important for us to really inspire ourselves. And by then, can we only inspire others? So, affirmation cards. Okay, thank you.
What's the most important lesson you learned in the past week?
In the past week, that everything happens for a reason and that we have experienced a lot of complications, but we already know that that's part of what we're experiencing right now, which is a pandemic. So we just need to stay positive and stay grateful for what is happening in our lives right now.
If beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, in whose eyes are you beautiful?
In my own eyes, I think that's the most important, to be beautiful when you look at yourself in the mirror. And that's why I have learned the importance of self-love. And through self-love, I have learned to embrace every part of me, good or bad. And that is what I have learned is the most important thing.
If we truly learn from our mistakes, would you advise a young person to keep making them?
Well, you should still try to achieve the best and still strive to be the best version of yourself, but you just need to recognize that mistakes are part of success and that you need to learn from your mistakes so you can do better the next time.
If you have the power to do one of the following, eliminate poverty and hunger, a government with no graft to corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose?
I would choose a government without corruption, because if we don't have corruption, we would also not see the poverty. We would see a government that takes care of its people. We would see a government who who prioritize the safety, the healthcare, and then of course our environment, which is all very important.
If you were to add to cart one item to buy in Lazada to send to all Filipinos to help inspire them during this time, what would it be and why?
I would say to go with a motivational card or a motivational book with some quotes, because I think we all need a little bit of positivity every day, and it will definitely help us get through the worst times.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Really? Thank you. Oh my gosh, my real hair is coming forward. Really? Thank you.
Good day, everyone.
Good morning and happy birthday, Steph.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm getting older and older. 27. Yes.
So, Steph, what's the most important lesson you learned in the past week?
Okay, the most important lesson I've learned from the past week is for me the importance of compassion. You have to be passionate about the things that you want in life. And being part of Miss Universe Philippines, I've realized that this is the thing that I'm really passionate about, and I want to be that bridge to connect to the people.
If beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, in whose eyes are you beautiful?
Oh, probably in God, in my family. For sure that my family is very proud of me for being here, and for sure that they can say that I'm beautiful in every way that I am.
If we truly learn from our mistakes, would you advise a young person to keep making them?
Okay. For me, there will always be challenges in your life. For me, I advise them to keep trying and trying until they succeed in life. But I will never suggest to keep repeating that mistake, but for them to learn from the past, learn from that mistake, and for them to move on and be better.
If you have the power to do one of the following, eliminate poverty and hunger, a government with no graft and corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose?
For me, I would go with the poverty. My heart really goes for these people, and my heart screams for them. For me, we should go with hand in hand. Poverty should go with education. For me, education is the key or the gateway to the universe, and for us to have a better future in life.
If you were to add to cart one item to buy in Lazada, to send to all Filipinos to help inspire them during this time, what would it be and why?
Inspire them, okay? For me, being a quindera, I've been selling tons of clothes. And for me, with clothes, I feel like a princess. And I want that people, like the ladies out there, women, to be empowered through wearing a beautiful dress for them to walk on stage and be confident in themselves.
Thank you, Steph.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, I'm okay and I got enough sleep last night.
Good for you. So, Angela, what's the most important lesson you learned in the past week?
In the past week, the most important lesson I've really learned was to be more sure of myself and not to mind any negative comments that I can see online, because I noticed that people just post whatever they want without really thinking. So I've learned to filter out what's good and what's not and what's best for me. And that's really what I think is the best thing that I've learned last week.
If beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, in whose eyes are you beautiful?
In whose eyes? Well, mine. I think that the best reflection of beauty is how you see yourself. It doesn't really matter what other people say about you as long as you're assured that you're confident in how you bring yourself out. Because for me, physical beauty isn't what defines beauty. It's the kindness and the kind of person we are that we radiate from within.
If we truly learn from our mistakes, would you advise a young person to keep making them?
I wouldn't advise them to keep making mistakes, but I would remind them that there's nothing wrong with making mistakes as long as we do our best to correct them for the future.
If you have the power to do one of the following, eliminate poverty and hunger, a government with no graft and corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose?
I would definitely choose the second, a government with no graft and corruption, because they can touch on both of the issues mentioned. They can help the environment by allocating enough funds, and they can also help the people by being fair and being just.
If you were to add to cart one item to buy on Lazada, to send to all Filipinas, to help inspire them during this period, what would it be and why?
I would give them a sash. I'm pretty sure there's a sash there, because a beauty queen is somebody who holds themselves as an empowering woman, a phenomenal woman who reminds everyone to be themselves and to be diverse.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.